What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Late Night Conversations. I'm your host, King J.
And I'm JR.
That's my co-host. And we want to just welcome y'all, man. It's going to be a great, exciting episode today. I got a great true crime story that's been unsolved, that is still unsolved to this day.
Oh.
And I believe you got a good story,
I got
right?
a folklore tale. It's amazing.
Like a horror story?
Like a type of horror story, yeah.
Dog, I'm ready.
It's good, it's good.
Yeah, we're kicking off spooky season just right. Today's October 1st as we're recording this. This won't be posted till Friday morning. So by then it's going to be later. But man, we're kicking off spooky season right. Man. I got the Michael Myers on.
Myers,
you know what I'm saying? The white tee. Yeah, man. So how's it going on, man? Let's kick it off, man.
I'm good, man. How you been this week, nephew?
Man, it's been all right.
I know you had a long day today, but hey,
man,
we're here.
Man, it was busy. You know. Yeah, I had a long day, man. We had finally got all my Halloween stuff. We're fixing to start setting it up, and man, it's fixing to go crazy.
It's here.
Yeah, yeah. Halloween is my favorite.
And you go all out. You always do.
Dog, I'm going all out.
I can't wait till to see it. Probably in the next couple of days or so.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Once that dye comes in Thursday,
oh man,
my I have a puking skeleton. I'll probably post it on the Facebook page.
Hey,
yeah, man,
it was cool as hell last year too, dog.
I made it all by hand, man. It was pretty cool. And yeah, Halloween's my favorite season, man. I know a lot of, I'm a God-fearing man.
Yeah,
but a lot of people, a lot of people say, well, Christians shouldn't celebrate holiday, and but I'm not.
We celebrate as a kid day,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't see it as the way they're seeing it, like,
right.
Real demonic or nothing like that. I don't do no praising no demonic, man. It's a night to
enjoy the holiday.
Yeah, we just enjoy it, spend time with my family, take my kids to get candy, and that's it.
We got a little jack-o'-lantern set up today.
Yeah, we decided to decorate the table for y'all.
A little bit for the Halloween season, October.
Yeah. It's spooky season, baby.
Yeah. All month long. Hey. So I'm thinking I'm gonna defer from true crime for this month.
Okay.
And give folklore tales.
I think that'll be pretty cool. I think on this next podcast episode, I'll bring you a story as well, because I know one that I've been wanting to tell.
Well, I researched 20 of them already. I've got it in line. I don't know which one. This one today, I think it was it's gonna set it off.
Yeah.
It's good for the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
It's not complete horror.
Yeah.
It gets your mind,
It's like a psychological thriller.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, and I'm all about that.
Michael Myers type, what I'm saying?
Okay. So, well, let's go ahead and dive in, man. Thank y'all. Before we dive into the, I guess I'll kick it off with the true crime, and then we'll let you hit your horror story to close out the evening.
That'll work.
And so, before we kick it off, y'all, we just want to say thank y'all so much for episode 2. Man, it was a blessing. Shoot, a lot of people got a lot of good feedback on it.
Right.
Thank y'all so much for watching. If there's anything that y'all want maybe to see better, or any feedback y'all have, let us know.
They can hit us up on Spotify. I just found out you can comment on Spotify.
Yeah.
Comment on YouTube. We got our Facebook page up.
Yeah, we got the Facebook page, and then or just email us more direct to late night conversations 24@gmail.com.
Amen.
And let us know. And without further ado, let's dive in.
Let's go for it.
So
today, last week you were talking about the.
Oh yeah, last week I went ahead and told you about the
Sodder? The Sodder children? Or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was telling you that this week's story was going to be on the Sodder children.
Right. Oh, Sodder. Sorry, I'm saying Sodder.
Sodder.
Yeah,
the Sodder children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last week I had mentioned it's going to be the Sodder children, and that's what I got for you today, man. And this is one of my most I think most well-researched story that I brought to the podcast so far.
I saw your notes, so yeah.
Yeah, I got some good notes on it, man, because it's an interesting true crime story, and it's not solved. To this day, it hasn't been solved.
Okay.
And so, I'm super excited, man. Let's go ahead and dig in, man.
Let's do it.
All right. On the night of Christmas Eve in 1945.
Oh, that goes deep.
Deep. George and Jenny Sodder and 9 out of 10 kids celebrated Christmas at home.
Okay.
Christmas Eve.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. They had 10 kids. One of them wasn't at home. They were outside of the house.
Probably an older.
Yeah, probably with some. Yeah, a little bit older. They were.
Okay.
They weren't in the house. So tragedy struck around 1 a.m. A fire broke out in the home. So George, Jenny, and 4 of their 9 kids escaped.
Okay.
Sylvia, Marion, John, and George Jr. Man, they actually reported on their way out, some of the girls singed their hair.
Oh, because the fire was that deep.
It was bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it was bad.
So it wasn't just like contained to one area.
Yeah.
No, the whole
house engulfed.
Okay.
I mean, they woke up to smoke already billowing.
Oh, okay.
Billowing
so
through
this
the
was
house.
Christmas Eve, you said, right? Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Oh, okay. So they were already waiting. They were asleep.
Yeah, they were already asleep.
Morning,
yeah. They were already in bed and they were awoken. So
okay.
The remaining 5 Sodder children, which was Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, didn't make it out. And George thought they were still in the 2 upstairs bedrooms that they shared together.
Right.
Those 5 kids shared. It was 2 bedrooms.
Okay.
Between the 5 of them.
Right.
So George rushed in and bashed through the doors, trying to save his kids, but the stairs leading to the bedrooms were engulfed in flames.
Oh man.
He couldn't get through.
Right.
So to counter that, he ran outside in a panic, looking around, and he looking for his ladder. He had a ladder that he always had leaning on the house.
Right.
And it was gone. He couldn't find it.
What?
Yeah, he's like, searching around. He's like, man, where's that ladder at? I can't find it.
Right.
So then, he's panicking. He's thinking on his feet.
Right.
Well, he's got
as
2
a father would.
Yeah,
and
as
a father would. So
he looks around and he sees his 2 coal trucks. He has 2 coal trucks because that's what he does. He hauls coal.
Right.
So he runs to him to try to start him up and he's gonna pull him to the house and get in through the bedroom.
Right.
Some reason neither truck starts. Neither truck.
Now you got me intrigued. Like, okay, first the ladder ain't there.
Yeah.
Now his trucks won't start,
and now his trucks won't start, and they're his work trucks, and they were just working the day before. And so he's in a panic, man.
Right.
I mean, he's trying to get them. The trucks won't start. And so thinking quickly, a little bit after that, he's like, man, what else can I do? So he runs up to a bucket, to try to throw some water on the stairs to try to get into the house.
Something to get in.
The bucket is frozen.
What else can go wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so while all that's going on, the daughter Marion, that had made it out, ran to a neighbor's house to call the Fayetteville Fire Department. Let me at least tell you the city that was in. So it was Fayetteville, West Virginia.
Okay, see, now I was going to ask you, but I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying.
No, sorry, I glanced over, but it was Fayetteville, West Virginia.
Okay.
And so they called the Fayetteville Fire Department, but the operator would not pick up. Right.
Of course they wouldn't pick up.
Right. Yeah.
When there's a fire, on Christmas Eve.
And it gets worse.
Wow.
So another neighbor is seeing the fire, and they call the fire department. Operator won't pick up for them either. So that neighbor actually rushed into town and found the fire chief herself.
Okay.
Yeah. And so,
props to her.
Fire chief's name was F.J. Morris. And so she went up to F.J. Morris, let him know, and he initiated what at that time was called a phone tree system. You ever heard of that before?
No. Phone tree?
It's crazy. So back then, it's the, it's
the old rotary phones.
Yeah. Well, so back then, their only way of getting a hold of all the other the fire department, was that they were phoning each one phones one.
Individual?
Yeah. And so
dude, you got 10 firefighters, that's gonna take 10 minutes.
And so they have to phone one another, and dog, it gets even worse, huh? It gets even worse. So he initiates the phone tree system. The fire department was only 2.5 miles away, but they didn't arrive to the house until 8 a.m.
Okay. Go back. 1 a.m.
1 a.m. is when the fire started.
It's 7 hours later.
It's a 7-hour wait before they showed up. And there's, granted, it's Christmas Eve.
Right, but
maybe they had a hard time getting a hold of everybody. And there was also a report in some of the sources that I was reading in that in 2016, one of the fire chiefs at Fayetteville they were speaking to them about the case, and they said that back then there wasn't there wasn't actual real firefighters like today. These were all volunteers.
These are all volunteers. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because I remember back a lot of just
Yeah.
the city didn't provide that
exactly. So their firefighters crews are probably out celebrating. Maybe some of them were asleep.
Did
a little drinking.
You research any? Did you research Fayetteville? How big was the city, the town? Was it rural?
No, I didn't. I didn't do a lot of research. I'm
on the town itself.
Yeah. Oh, well, I did a little bit, and I'll get to it here in a minute.
Okay.
Because it does play a part in one of the theories
that's what I'm you got my mind going, and I'm like, okay, these firefighters can't be reached. Phones aren't working.
It is more of a rural town, and I will say this.
Okay.
I'll kind of
keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. No, that was good. That was good because it helped me kind of explain that. Man, 7 hours, man, and by the time they showed up, I mean the house was a pile of ash.
Right.
So assuming, the detectives show up or the firefighters show up, and the police chief F.J. Moore shows up.
Right.
And they just assume the kids were deceased. They searched through the ash and rubble, but found no remains.
So the fire was that intense that it just burned them complete, bone and all, or?
Well, that's what the firefighters thought, and that's what F.J. Morris thought.
Well, see, that's what I would have thought immediately.
So Morris believed that they were cremated in the fire, that the fire was so intense, and that it burned for so long that the remains were cremated.
Okay.
But check this out, I did some research on how cremation works. I found out, as I did a little bit of research, that when your body's cremated, that bones are usually left behind in fragments.
I'm going to say fragments, because I have heard that too.
And they take the bones and then they grind them into a powder, and that's how they get the ashes.
I saw an episode like that too.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter about how long or how hot, there should have been bone fragments left over.
And they didn't find any clue of the children at all.
So no, they didn't find no bone fragments at all. Okay. So Marion also said, one of the children, Marion had said in an interview in 1976,
30 years later.
Yeah, they're interviewing the children, and she said in the interview that she never saw any of her siblings in the window, or they never smelled any burning flesh.
Right.
At all. I mean, there's 5 kids in there. You would think that if they
somebody's gonna yell, scream,
or smell
try
something,
to break a window,
or try to get out.
Did it say that their ages? Do you know their ages of the 5 that were in the 2 bedrooms?
It ranged from 14 down to, I believe, 2.
Okay, well, at least I'm pretty sure the 14-year-old would have tried to break a window.
Right, yeah, you would think, or
yell out.
Be trying to. Right. I mean, if they can't breathe,
find a way to,
or try to open the window, and they never saw. She said she never saw them in the window, and they never smelled the burning flesh. So, they ruled the fire was from faulty wiring.
Which I can imagine was a lot in them times.
Right. So, but check this out. There's something to counter that. So, not even a week later, man, they issued death certificates for all the kids.
Without an investigation? Or the investigation was a week longer than...
No, check this out. So, they issued the death certificates, and George actually took some dirt and about 5 feet of dirt and covered over, I guess, where like the basement area was at, and made a memorial. For his children.
In the basement of the house that burned.
Yeah, they just kind of piled, he made a big
like
pile.
A little,
and also,
personal...
kind of like a little memorial for the kids. And I also read that later on they ended up going and planting flowers like on the memorial.
Okay.
And so, he made a little bit of memorial, but George and Jenny, the husband and wife, they believe their kids weren't dead. They both believe they were kidnapped. And let me tell you why.
Okay. I'm going to go into it. You already know me.
So check this out. So in order to understand why they feel like this, let me key you in on a little bit of who George Sodder was.
Okay.
So George Sodder immigrated from Italy at 13 years old to Fayetteville, which is a small town of Italian immigrants.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much a town full of immigrants. Right. So in that town, George and Jenny, was seen as a very respected middle-class family. But he was also a very, very vocal man.
Okay, so middle-class meaning
they did all right.
Rich, but they weren't.
Yeah, they did all right for themselves.
They were wealthy.
Yeah, he owned the coal factory. He shipped coal, hauled coal, back and forth.
Okay.
So he did well for himself. He was very well respected, but at the same time, he was a very, very vocal man. And he was especially real vocal about the Italian dictator, Mussolini.
At that time, right?
Yeah, he had a lot of negative things to say about Mussolini.
Okay.
And but the one thing that he wasn't vocal about was why he left Italy. Nobody really knew why he left Italy.
I was going to ask you why he immigrated.
And when anybody tried to talk to him about it, he brushed it off. He didn't want to talk about it.
He didn't want to say why he came to the United States.
And so some people believe it's possibly because he was involved in some shady business. You know, either him or his family down in Italy.
Okay.
You know, because why else wouldn't he want to talk about his?
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Personal and.
Oh yeah.
You know, he might have just want to leave the past behind him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you know more about this than I do.
But so a little bit after that, there was a couple strange occurrences that led up to when the fire happened, and why George and Jenny believed their kids were kidnapped.
Okay.
So in the fall, a life insurance salesman showed up to the house and tried to sell George and Jenny a policy. When he saw that the sale wasn't going nowhere, he became furious and yelled at George, and quote,
the salesman yelled?
The salesman yelled at George
because he on his way out. He wouldn't buy.
He wasn't giving him business.
Okay.
So he yelled at George on his way out of the house, quote, your goddamn house is going up in smoke and your children are going to be destroyed. You're going to be paid for the dirty remarks you've been making about Mussolini, end quote.
Okay. Stop right there, nephew.
Solved, right? Solved.
Stop right there. Okay, so apparently this guy's an Italian also.
Yes.
He's an Italian. The insurance salesman or whatever.
Yeah, the town is mostly Italian descent.
I can understand him being upset over Mussolini if he's a Mussolini ride or die or whatever. But you threaten the children and the house.
And then it happened?
A couple of months later?
I mean, come on.
Okay, like you said,
like a case closed.
Right.
Okay.
So did they go investigate him?
So check this out.
All right.
There's a twist about that guy.
See, I knew it was coming.
There's a twist about that salesman. Okay. So a couple days right before the fire, 2 of the surviving sons recounted that they witnessed a man waiting and watching the younger kids coming home from school on Highway 21. He was just parked, and every day he was watching the kids come from school.
Oh, he was learning their
routine.
Their routine, yeah.
And so the night of the fire, around 12:30 a.m., the phone rang. And Jenny jumped out of bed and went to go answer it. When she picked up the phone, there was a woman on the line, and she just asked for a name. Is so-and-so there?
Right.
And she heard like glasses clinking in the back like it was a party.
Okay.
And she's like, you have the wrong number. And she hung up. And so she went back to bed. But she noted, which is very important, the lights were still on downstairs.
Okay.
The lights were still on downstairs.
Was everybody asleep upstairs?
So
or was there
on one of the reports I read, one of the Marion was asleep on the couch in the living room.
Okay.
Downstairs. So she just assumed everybody else was upstairs asleep.
Right.
And she just went back to bed.
Okay.
But she noticed that's very important that you remember that.
All right.
She noticed that the lights were on and everything was still on downstairs. So, she ended up going back to bed, and around maybe around right before the fire started, so probably about 12:50, maybe 5 minutes before, she heard a loud bang and then something rolling on the roof.
Oh.
Then later, she heard that loud noise, and then eventually smoke started billowing through the room, and so that's when everything started to, kick off from there.
So me just trying to visualize it, the loud bang would be, I don't know.
Right, what could that be? I mean, and then sometimes you hear stuff at night.
Something loud and then rolling.
Like a rolling sound, yeah. She heard something like rolling on the roof.
Okay, I mean, I can visualize it, but I can't think of what I could think of what it could be.
Yeah. See, and that's and she probably didn't think anything of it. That's why she went back to bed.
Right.
And so, a little bit later, so
this was probably minutes before the fire. Well,
it was minutes right before the fire started.
Okay.
And so that kind of kicked off the series of events there. So now, let's fast forward a little bit. A witness had went to police and said they had seen a man removing a block and tackle used to remove engines, from the scene of the fire. He was hauling it off. The police actually went and questioned him, and he admitted to stealing the block and tackle, but he denied any involvement in the fire.
Okay.
That to me was big because his trucks wasn't starting.
Okay.
Could he have removed the engines to the...
Well, I don't know if he removed the engines. I mean, removing the engine's not easy.
Well, yeah, of course. I don't know how back in the cars in the fort,
Yeah, but maybe he dismantled them somehow. But he stole...
Or maybe unplugged something. Or
nowadays, we call that a cherry picker,
Yeah.
Take the motor
tackle
out.
And block.
Because when you said block and tackle, I'm like...
Or block and tackle, yeah.
I'm like, I'm thinking of a football, where, hey, let's, practice your blocking and your tackling, but anyways, go ahead, nephew.
And so, man, they questioned him, and that's all they said, but he denied any...
so why did he didn't say why he stole it?
No, he just admitted to it, but then they were like, they questioned him about the fire, and he said, look, I had no involvement in that, I was just stealing it,
Right.
And so...
Christmas
that led to that. So a couple days later, remember I mentioned earlier they were at the memorial. They went and planted flowers.
Right.
So their daughter Sylvia, the youngest, found a hard rubber object in the yard while they were playing in the memorial.
Okay.
George looked at it, examined it, said that it was a napalm pineapple bomb.
Napalm, which would have been from
what they were using in the war at that time.
Yeah, in the 40 World War II.
He said that's what it looked like. That it was a napalm pineapple bomb. And she started
like a grenade.
Yeah.
Like a napalm grenade. Okay.
Okay. So
Jenny. So now that
makes sense of the bang
and the rolling. Right.
That she heard. So now it's kind of, they're like, hold on, things are starting to come together. So then Jenny started experimenting a little bit after that. The wife, she started burning like animal bones, and she had, every time she did the experiment, she had animal remains left over.
Right.
She always had bones left over. Plus, the household, that was in the search for the remains of the kids, there was household appliances found, still intact, not burned, like not melted completely,
right.
So there's no way this fire burned them to cremation.
If you don't if you can't melt metal in an intense fire like that, then your bones should...
Yeah, plastic has survived this fire.
Right.
So there should be remains
right.
of the kids, and that's what she was getting at. And so, it's crazy because a little bit after that, there was reported sightings to the police.
Of the kids?
So there was actually a reported sighting the night of the fire. A woman reported seeing the kids in a car speeding past, while the fire was happening. That's what one woman reported. Okay. So the next day, 50 miles west of Fayetteville, a woman operating a tourist stop told police she saw the kids the next morning. These were her words. I quote, "I served them breakfast. There was a car with Florida plates at the tourist court."
Right.
And so she said, a woman at a hotel nearby in Charleston reportedly saw 4 of the 5 kids a week after the fire.
Okay.
She said, quote, "The children were with 2 women and 2 men, all of Italian extraction. I do not remember the exact date. I tried to talk to the children in a friendly manner, but the men appeared hostile and refused to allow me to talk to these children.
Okay.
I sensed I was being frozen out, so I said nothing more, and they left early the next morning," end quote. So George saw a newspaper photo a little bit after of a schoolgirl in New York. And he drove all the way to New York to investigate the lead. Well, when he got there, the parents refused to let him speak to the daughter. And so
the photo he saw or the news clipping.
Yeah, it was a news clipping.
Looked like his daughter.
Yeah, man, he could have sworn, man, that looks just like my daughter.
Right.
And he's traveling. Like any parent would.
Yeah.
At this point, there's leads coming out here and there, and George is investigating all.
So he's driving.
Yeah. 2 years after the fire, George and Jenny contacted the FBI for help. But the Fayetteville police and the fire department denied to offer help to the
So,
FBI.
So this is an inside job, not an inside job,
but it's just sounding like there's a lot of people cooperating with each other
because of Mussolini.
That's what I kind of started getting a little bit from the story.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking
mind.
Like, okay,
this maybe, guy is he's a Mussolini hater. Right. Hey, you know, we don't want Mussolini outed or whatever. So
that's what it seems like, right? I am telling you. And so they actually reached out to a PI, you know, private investigator, right. C.C. Tinsley. And this is crazy, bro. This is what I said earlier about the salesman.
Right.
He did some digging and found out that a member of the coroner's jury that ruled the fire accidental was the same salesman that threatened him earlier. He was on the coroner's jury, and was the one that ruled the fire an accident.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. Right then there, FBI should pick that up. Right? I don't know. Oh, but then again, you said the whole town didn't want to help.
Yeah, the police department's not cooperating.
Nobody wanted to help FBI.
So Tinsley did a little bit more asking around town and discovered a rumor that the fire chief, Morris, was saying that he actually found a heart in the ashes of the home, but he hid it in a dynamite box and buried it where the home was. Tinsley convinced the chief to show him where he buried it. Right. They dug it up, and it actually was a beef liver.
So this dude is... So the conspiracy is just getting bigger and bigger.
Yes. And so he questioned him. What do you mean? Why'd you buy
Why would you do that? Yeah.
And he said that he did it because he wanted the family to get some closure, and so they would stop searching.
But
so that
to me, that's not closure, man.
So and so that the search would stop. So they would stop investigating.
Right.
Why? Right. That's what you know.
Now, oh, dude, you told me this was gonna be intense, man, and you got my mind going berserk.
See, I got you on a journey.
I can't. I can't. Oh man!
I'm telling you, man, that's kind of where I was at with this story. Doing the research, I was like, man, bro, this is taking me on a little ride.
Right.
And so check this out. In August 1949, the Sodders hired a pathologist, Oscar B. Hunter. He excavated the dirt, and he actually found 4 shreds of human vertebrae.
Okay.
He sent them to the Smithsonian for testing. They hypothesized that the bones were from a 16 to 17-year-old person. Since the transverse recess was still fused. So the oldest child missing was only 14.
Right.
So they concluded that it couldn't possibly have been from any of the children because the oldest that was missing was 14.
14, right.
So they just assumed that maybe it was from the soil that George used to make his memorial.
Right.
Maybe the bones were there, is what they're thinking.
Okay.
And since there was no signs of fire damage, that was, and this was before DNA. This was a little bit before DNA.
Okay.
And so, they had no way of testing the remains.
I'll keep bumping into it, dog. Go ahead.
And so, here comes a little plot twist, Unk. Before we get into this little plot twist, I want to take a quick little break, and then we'll be right back.
Awesome.
And we're back.
All right.
All right, Unk.
So, we left off where the vertebrae...
Yeah, the vertebrae was found inconclusive for them, And so, after the findings, the Virginia governor, O.K. Patterson, held a hearing in Charleston, West Virginia, and officially declared the case closed.
So the governor's
and he told the Sodders that their search was hopeless.
Right.
So, this led to George and Jenny to set up a billboard on Route 16, advertising the missing kids, and it remained for 40 years.
Wow.
And the reward was $5,000 to begin with.
Okay.
And then they eventually bumped it up to $10,000. Dog, I did an inflation calculator.
I was going to tell you because I did mine last week. Remember, and it was quite a bit.
Yes. Dog, it's a big jump. So from 1945 at $10,000 to now, It's $140,000.
Wow, that's
is
big.
what they were offering.
That's big, man. That's big.
And I mean,
People
they want
can
their
use
kids
that even now. Yeah, even people can do that now.
Yeah, and so that billboard remained up for 40 years. But man, that plot twist, man, the governor closed the case, and there wasn't even any real investigating.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand,
you know what I mean?
Why the governor would just step in and say, you know what, we're done with this case.
It's closed, and told them that their search is hopeless. Bro, imagine hearing that as a parent, and your kids are missing. What? Hopeless? Boy.
I don't know what that word is.
You heard me? Man, dog, I don't know. Some ain't right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Some ain't right, dog.
That's why I said the governor. So I mean, the whole conspiracy is the whole town to me.
It seems like they're out against him or something.
Against his family.
So,
but to me, it still boils down to Mussolini, dog. I mean,
right. So check this out. Here's the possible explanations. The first one is the Italian mafia. They received a letter stating a little bit after. Okay. Oh, let me bring it back.
Okay.
So there's two things that they suspect. Either it was the Italian mafia, or they think their children were victims of child trafficking. So here's a little bit.
Child trafficking in those times was the same as now, or is it child trafficking just selling children?
Well, see, I think it's more of like, I don't want to say sex trafficking, but yeah, back then it was more of like selling the children, because there was a report that they had got a tip saying that the kids were sold to a foster home somewhere.
Okay.
But so a little bit after, they had received a letter stating that their daughter was actually in a convent in St. Louis. That was a letter that George had got.
So they made her into a nun.
Yeah, wherever, that was just kind of like a tip that he got.
Right.
Also, a woman in Florida said that they were with Jenny's relatives. Man.
Okay.
Yeah, like I guess relatives somewhere in, somewhere in Florida.
Okay.
That they've seen, I guess, viewing the children, I guess, over there, wherever.
Well, wouldn't you, still? I would tell my family if somebody brought me kids.
That's crazy.
From different state that I didn't really know.
Yeah. I'm
like, hey, why y'all here?
Exactly. And so he investigated all them leads, man. I mean, he drove. I mean, it didn't matter where the lead was from.
New York, it's quite a bit.
He's trying to find his kids, man.
Right.
I mean,
all down south.
Yeah, exactly. He's investigating all the tips, but they're all coming up empty.
Right.
And so in 1968, a picture was actually sent to Jenny, the mother, addressed to her, that was postmarked in Kentucky. A man in his 20s resembling their missing son, Louis, because of like the matching facial features and stuff like that. And on the back of the picture, it read, Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie, little boys, A96132 or 35. That's what it says on the back of the picture.
Right.
She just received it out of nowhere, and she's like, "Man, that looks." I mean, she's like convinced that that's Louis. I mean, and then it says, at the time. Yeah, and then it's like, and you say it says his name on the back.
What year was this when she received the letter?
It was 1968.
Okay, so we're looking at 23 years later.
Yeah,
he wouldn't be in his 20s; he'd be in his 30s.
Yeah, and they're saying he looks like a mid,
like in his 20s.
Yeah, and then it's odd that the back of the picture says Louis Sodder on it.
Wow.
I mean, that's crazy, right? Wow. So they actually hired a detective. Oh, this is crazy, dog. So I forgot about this. They actually hired a detective to go to Kentucky and investigate the lead further, but the detective was never seen again.
Oh my goodness, dog.
Seen or heard
detective
from again.
From Kentucky?
Dog, have you ever heard of a detective going missing? Dog, we need a detective for the detective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, sadly, man, George passed away in 1969. And wasn't able to continue the search for his children.
Right.
Jenny also passed away in 1989.
20 years later.
Yeah. And Sylvia is the last remaining Sodder children alive, or Sodder child alive.
How old is she now?
Man, I didn't get the age on her now.
Okay.
But I know that she was 2 at the time of the fire. So
45. Oh, so she's able.
Yeah, she's really old. And so her daughter Jenny and
oh, she named her daughter after her
she
mother.
named her daughter Jenny, and she also has a brother in there, and they collaborate together. They're still working on this case to this day. She asks if anybody in the world has any info, if they would please go and post it to websleuths.com. Her and her brother are working diligently still. They really want to solve this case because she said that her mother is very passionate about finding, her sibling,
right.
and it's I can see why, man. I mean, damn.
So,
dude,
Jenny's daughter, who has kids, Jenny's probably in her early to mid 80s. Since this was in 45, she was 2 years old.
Sylvia.
Well, yeah. So her kids are probably in their 40s or 50s, maybe. Still.
Yeah, and they're still investigating the case. Yeah.
Aunts and uncles.
Yeah, their relatives. Yeah, and it just seems like, to me, of course, this is just my opinion. I'm not stating no facts, but I think that they set him up in that town, man. I think they set him up in that town, and I think there was still some.
If this gentleman was making money and was in the community serving, doing what he had to do, why would you set this man up to take his children?
Right.
If that's what really happened, they took his kids. What did he do so bad that he had the whole community against him?
I mean, maybe it's just because of. I mean, these are all still Italian. I mean, these are Italian immigrants,
right.
And maybe some of them don't feel the way he felt about Mussolini.
Right.
Maybe they had some type of, maybe some I don't know. They looked at him in great. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what the case was, but to
Mussolini
me,
was not a good person.
He was a dictator, man. I mean,
I didn't want to go deep into that, but
he was. I mean, he was classified
trying to get back to the
dictator.
United States, such as some German people, the Holocaust, they're all trying to make it to America, to better their lives because of dictatorship or it's just insane.
It's just crazy, and to this day, with it being unsolved, I mean, where did them kids go, man? I mean, where did they go?
Well, it's not about where they went. It's how did they manipulate their minds to not look for their parents as they got older? What kind of brainwashing did they go through to where they, if they're still alive, not alive, but at that time,
right?
They brainwashed them so fast that they didn't want to go back to their mom and dad. I mean, there's too much to sink in at one time. This is something that you'd have to keep looking into, man, and just going over and going over and going until you find something. Because there's people that just that's what they do, man. I mean, I'm not that person right now.
And I had a lot of fun researching, man. I mean, it was good.
Right.
I had a lot of fun doing the research, and I love doing stuff like that.
Awesome.
And to me, if there's any way that I could even make a break in something, it'd be crazy.
What would it be?
You know what I mean? That'd be crazy. Like I said last week, I'm on the spot on the squad now. I'm a cop.
Right.
I'm a detective. I'm Scooby Doo now. You feel me? And so I just, but man, it was an interesting story. It's crazy that, and it's sad that George and Jenny passed away without ever finding out what happened to their kids. I mean, that's such a shame.
That's the worst thing that any parent can go through is as we listen to crime, missing children is when parents pass away without knowing. They fought their whole lives trying to find out what happened. Even if they were murdered or they passed away, is you want to know.
Yeah.
You want to have that closure. I would.
Yeah, I think any parent would.
Going to your grave without knowing.
Yeah, it's gotta suck, bro. That's
gotta be so hard on a heart.
Yeah, that's gotta suck, bro. Yeah. You gotta think. I mean, this family was. I mean, that's all you have. I mean, you and your kids. I mean, and then it's not like now when times are different where. Like now,
well, now
some
people have one child, two children at the most.
Yeah.
in the 40s and 30s, 40s, they were having like you said,
having
9
football
children.
teams and you know what I'm saying.
And because they knew that when they grew up, they were going to help the family.
Yeah,
That's why they had so many people,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, and there's not such an importance on that no more.
Right.
Leaving your legacy behind.
No.
Letting your name pass from generation to generation.
When it stops, man.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that name means everything, man.
Yeah,
I think
to me, I would want my legacy to live on.
Of course, I got my son. You got your son.
Exactly.
And I want my son to have a good life and have children of his own and keep going forward. So that's pretty sad though, man. But I did enjoy that, man. Yeah. I did.
I thought you would, man.
I was intrigued a lot, man. My mind is just like, yeah.
This is crazy, right? It's wild, dog. I mean, it's crazy to go that long and this case hasn't been solved. And there's tons of cases out there just like this, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I got so many, and I got a book, man, with so many cases that I can dive into. And I'm so glad that we're putting out this platform to get these stories out because, like you said, you're like, man, I haven't heard of these stories, man. There's tons of people that haven't heard these type of true crime, unsolved
there's a
mysteries.
Lot of podcasters out there doing true crime. I've been listening to one this morning and stuff, and it's just crazy how many stories, man. Like I said, I'll live a lifetime and never hear every story that's out there. I mean,
yeah, man, there's stuff.
But I do want to keep pursuing these stories, and hopefully.
Something will come out of it. Yeah, hopefully we can help somebody.
I would like to personally solve one, of course. We all do.
Yeah,
but at very least, with y'all's help, would give us a little bit of tips to come in, and maybe not solve it, but get closer.
Or even if not solve, at least spread awareness about these cases that may go under the radar for people that don't know, which is good.
I listened to one this morning, which I saw a Netflix special on it, and it's just so like you said, the family, the whole town is against this man. But when you have a jury who convicts a 16-year-old black girl, of murder, and gives her, she has no eligibility for parole until until she's 58 or 68.
Dang, man.
It's just crazy, man. But there is, and like I said, all or a lot of crimes can be solved with your help. You know, there's last week we posted the Texas Tip Hotline. We didn't post the Plainview. I did say the Plainview
Crime
Stoppers. You got Texas Crime Stoppers, Texas Tip. You have Indiana, which Crime Junkie is so adamant about.
Right.
She's like every week, I'm sure every state has theirs, man.
Yeah, they have their own hotlines and stuff, and it's just good. Just be aware, and understand that there's a lot of cases out here that are not being solved, and we're just trying to spread awareness.
Like
about
I said,
it.
there's 5 in Plainview that they're working on. They're not solved, man, and we'll get to those at a later time.
Yeah, and we'll
like I said, because this month. Halloween, man.
Yeah, it's Halloween. It's spooky season, baby.
So
I love Halloween, dog.
But that was a great story, man. And
I'm ready for yours.
I want to change the atmosphere because that was a sad story, and I have a little thriller. Okay,
let's shake it up, baby.
So, let me look this up real quick. Hopefully, I'll be able to read this correctly. This does come from a folklore tale. Let's see who. S.E. Schlosser.
Dang. S.E. Schlosser.
Right. I don't want to kill her name down like that, but
that sounds like a German name.
I don't know if she's the one who wrote this, but she's an author of spooky series, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of her stories, and I think it's gonna go crazy, man. I'm just trying here on that check.
Let's see what you got, man. I'm ready.
Okay.
Psychological thriller, huh?
Yep.
Let's get it.
All right, here we go. I'm just gonna read this and let you know that this is a story that could or could not be true because it's folklore, you know. So, all right, there were warnings all over campus about a hatchet man who was supposedly abused and killed women in Bloomington. All the girls were warned to walk in pairs and stay in brightly lit areas if they had to go out at night. Okay? The sophomore and her roommate were staying in an empty dorm room over the Thanksgiving weekend since both their families were out of the country. So, I don't know where Bloomington is, but they were out of the country. They had grown very bored as the days followed and the nights followed, and they were bored. They were tired of staying inside every night for the fear of the hatchet man. Her roommate suggested they have dinner at a local bar, and the sophomore agreed. The two women had lingered longer than anticipated, and it was almost midnight when the sophomore, more than a little drunk, decided to walk back to the dorm. Her roommate was busy flirting with the bartender, so she headed into the dark, silent streets alone. The sophomore had forgotten all about the hatchet man warnings. A little tipsy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's have a drink.
It wasn't until she took a shortcut through a dark, creepy alley that she remembered there was a desperate murder on the loose. The sophomore shivered, feeling suddenly sober and very much alone. She felt as if hostile eyes were peering out at her from every menacing shadow and darkened doorway. She quickened her pace with that heavy breathing she heard behind her. Were those footsteps walking in time with her own? In an alley?
Oh, man.
In an alley?
You hear something
late at night?
Some foot. You take a step and you hear
you don't want to look back? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, anyways, so the sophomore broke into a run, heart pounding fiercely that someone was following her. She was sure someone was following her. She darted onto the college campus, zigzagged through the building, and flung herself panting into the dorm. She pounded up 3 flights of stairs, down the hall, and slammed into her room, locking the door behind her. It was only then, leaning against the door with her heart racing, she started to feel foolish. There was no sound from the hallway, no footsteps, no heavy breathing, no hatchet breaking through the wood of the door. She'd been a fool. The sophomore staggered into the bathroom, washed up for the night, leaving the door locked behind her. She kept glancing in the mirror to make sure everything was secure. The scene in the mirror was normal, and there was no sound in the empty dormitory. Everything was just fine, she told herself. Then she remembered that her roommate was still at the bar. She didn't want her roommate to walk home alone, so she called the bar and asked the manager if she would arrange for her roommate to be brought home in a taxi. So I guess it's years back, you know.
Yeah.
You know, now we got Ubers, you know.
Taxi. Yeah.
You know, so the music in the background was loud, and she wasn't sure if the manager understood her request. But at least she tried.
And if she ended up dead, he'd be like, "Man, I tried to save you, dog. I tried at least.
You know,
I made an effort, yo."
So the sophomore curled up in bed with her reading lamp on, determined to wait up for her roommate. But the combination of heavy drinking and her earlier fright sent her into a deep sleep almost at once. She did not awaken until the sun came pouring into her window early the next morning. She woke up with a hangover and rolled over, trying not to be sick in bed. Like a hangover, boy.
Oh, dog.
Those were my younger days, not now.
Yeah.
When she looked across the room, she realized that her roommate wasn't in the bed on the far wall. In fact, it looked as if her bed had not been slept in at all.
Oh, wow.
She rolled to her feet, pounding with dread. Maybe her roommate had spent the night in the lobby. Her roommate had done that once before, went out partying until the wee hours of the morning, saying it was too much trouble to climb 3 flights of stairs. Okay. With trembling hands, the sophomore unlocked the door and wrenched it right open, searching for roommate. The unmistakably faintly metallic scent of blood. I can already taste that.
Ugh. Fresh penny in the mouth.
Man. Smashed into her nostrils as the door swung wide open. That was her only warning before her shocked eyes saw blood splattered all over the walls and the floor of the 3rd floor hallway.
Dang.
She screamed in terror, leaping backwards away from the partially decapitated body of her roommate. Oh,
dang.
Which lay dead at her feet. Oh
man.
Her throat. Dude.
That's rough, dog.
I mean,
you pull up on a scene like that.
On. Yeah, but she tried getting her a taxi.
She tried to get her a taxi, you know what I'm saying?
But her throat was slit from one end to the other, and blood pooled under her dead body. The nails of her outstretched hand were torn and splintered where they had scratched desperately at her wooden door. She was at the door, dog.
Oh, man.
She was trying to tell her roommate
was trying to
dead asleep, drunk.
Help! You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if she could, slit.
Lord, if you're listening, I need help.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dang, man. She was almost there, bro.
Yeah, she was there. A black shadow lay across her roommate's body. She looked up in daze, her gaze following the black shadow to its source. Embedded in the window frame near the entrance to the staircase was a blood-stained hatchet outlined in the rising sun.
Oh, wow.
I got a pic. We're gonna put that on. We're gonna put that on. That was it.
Dang, dog.
Like I said, this is just a little thriller story. It wasn't nothing major, but hey, doesn't say when it happened, but apparently it was years back because of the taxi, and of course it's the folklore. And but
dog, that's crazy. What if she was the Hatchet man? She said everything was quiet. She goes to the room. Everything's so peaceful on her way back.
Right. But then
she comes out to a mess.
To a decapitated body. I don't know what I would do if my roommate, I walked out and there's no head.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy, man.
Hey, man, I think it was her. It was her, dog. She the Hatchet man.
So this is kind of a little thriller, just folklore, little stories, for Oktoberfest or whatever you want to call it.
That's pretty cool, man.
I think I enjoyed reading it. Like I said, her name, S.E. Schlosser. She's the author of a spooky series published by Globe Pequot Press. She's been telling stories since she was a child, when games of Let's Pretend quickly built themselves into full-length tales acted out with friends. A graduate of both Houston College and Institute of Children's Literature, Sandy receives her MLS from Rutgers University while working as a full-time music teacher and a freelance author.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I mean, props to her.
Heck yeah.
So S.E. S stands for Sandy, apparently, because that's what she said. But
man, shout out to her. That was a good story, man.
I've never written a story. I've written poems, but
I've written stories before.
I
Man, when I was in school, I was really good at reading and writing.
Right.
Man, those were my favorites. So I mean, it only makes sense. Like I can write music and stuff like that. So
right.
My wife, she gonna be mad at me. But man,
I'm gonna reach and grab a candy.
Yeah, candy. Yeah, give me a candy, dog. Yeah, they get a
little Hershey's Kiss.
Hershey's Kiss. But Yeah, back in school, man, she was so smart in all her subjects.
Right.
And the only one she hated the most was writing, you know.
Okay.
And so, like, shoot, anytime she had an essay,
It was you.
Give it to me here. I want to write it. Yeah, I had some good essays, man.
That's good.
And it's cool, man, because, you know, it just, to me, this is what I get out of it. I feel like whenever you're able to write stories, I'm pretty sure, like you said, you write poetry, I write music, and I like to write stories.
Right.
It's like a sense of escape, you know.
Oh yeah.
You like step into another world, man, when when you're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, because your mind is pretty clear. It's not focused on anything around you except your project, your poem, your story, your lyrics. You know, so it's a sense of gratitude, gratification. Feel at peace.
Yeah,
you do. You know
exactly, man, and that's cool, man. And I got some shit. I can't wait, man. See, you already got me.
Yeah.
And we start this little segment of short stories.
Short stories, man. Just little.
Bro, I got some short stories that I've heard that are crazy, man.
I was thinking of doing one from I think it's San Antonio about the children with the railroad tracks.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'll do that.
See, like next segment, next week on next week's episode, I may dive into a topic of a paranormal site. Like, you know, we can discuss folklore like Bloody Mary. Like,
well, you know what? I was talking Bloody Mary.
Bro, we Mexicans, so we can talk about, you know, La Chusa.
La Llorona.
We can talk about the Mothman. We can talk about
Duendes.
Duendes, bro. I got a lot on Duendes, bro.
I saw one on TikTok about a story about Duendes. It gave me chills, man, but I don't believe in them.
Dog,
I don't believe in them.
I got a story, dude. I got a story for you, bro. So, you know, we got family, you know, up there in Hearn and stuff.
Right.
Man, when we were kids, bro, I remember when we were kids, we went and stayed a vacation over there.
Right.
We actually went with Kim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we all stayed for, I don't know if we stayed for the whole summer or we stayed for pretty much most of it.
For a little bit, right.
Yeah, we went and stayed out there with Marie, you know, and them. And man, we had a blast. But
every time we
there,
go visit my aunt up there, it's amazing.
Man, they had stories about duendes, man, about like little elves.
Elves.
Yeah, the little elves. Yeah, they said they saw one in their house.
Children. It's not about adults. It's about children.
Yeah,
you know?
They said they saw them in the house. They said they saw them in that house that they had once stayed in. And then
I'm glad they already moved.
Bro, that got me digged into stories of like there used to be YouTube videos on them, man.
On duendes?
Yeah, look up some YouTube videos on some elves, bro.
Like I said, I've never believed in them, but as this TikToker, and I can't remember her name, was telling the story, I got the chills.
Got the chills?
I got chills. I'm like, what the?
He said, I got chills.
They're multiplying.
Man.
No, man. I enjoyed this, man. I enjoyed this tonight, man.
Yeah, this was good, man.
Your story was amazing. It's not a story. It's facts.
Yeah.
Mine's a story, you know, folklore.
But it was a good story, man. I mean, it was a good story.
It was just
and it's something new to shake it up, you know?
I think once I can get a voiceover or something.
We're going to do something.
Yeah.
We're going to do something
it'll
cool,
be good.
man.
It'll be good.
Man, let's take a quick break, huh? Let's take a quick little pause, and
Okay.
then we'll jump right back into something, because I got something I want to tell you.
Coca-Cola sponsor us, please.
You hear me? I need some free Coke. And not the white kind. All right, back again.
Once again.
So, man, I had something to tell you, huh?
Right.
I don't know if you've been paying attention in the media or like Facebook or anything like that. More or less on TikTok, but you heard about the port strikes?
I heard about it, and I was watching the news this morning before I went to work.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you be watching the news.
I'll be up at 5, bro.
You got to work at 8, but for some reason, y'all old folks, y'all get up at 5 in the morning and watch the news.
You gotta watch the news. Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Tatiana, because every now and then, if she's on there, I'm for sure going to be up at 5.
Hey, you hear me? Yeah.
No, but I saw something this morning that said Biden has the authority to stop a strike.
Yeah, well,
but he's not going to. That's what.
Well, not so. Well, I guess you could say the authority, but he can enact the Harley Taft Act.
You stupid.
They're not.
Okay.
And that puts the strike on like a damn, I don't want to say this and be wrong, but it's like an 80-day or something like that. It puts the strike on a pause, and they have to kind of go back to work. So it gives them more time for negotiations of the contract. But I heard from the guy that's running the strike that he said it don't matter. He said, "You think we're all gonna just go back to work at full force?" He said, "We're gonna be
so this is going all over every port in America, or
not
just the
all
one
of
in
them,
Houston?
just the one on the from Texas all the way up to like New York, like Maine.
Oh, on the East Coast.
Yeah, all the East Coast. Yeah, so the West Coast is still. So that's why they're saying for some people not to be panicking, because like, bro, I already saw posts on Facebook saying that water and toilet paper is flying off the shelves. But I also saw a TikTok that said y'all need to do y'all's research because a lot of that stuff is American, like, it's not imported like that.
Right.
Or and then the West Coast is still operating. But you got to think, if they shut the East Coast down, they're going to reroute all the stuff to the West Coast, and then they're going to get slammed. So, but yeah, he can enact that Harley Taft deal, but it's only going to put that strike on a pause. Okay, it'll resume if there's no negotiation.
Right, and I really hadn't been paying attention to it, dog. I mean, I've been reading more into the Diddy deal, but that's for another day.
Oh yeah, you've been reading up on the diddler, huh? Oh, diddler on the roof.
On the roof, baby.
Hey, he's going down, brother.
Oh, we know that, dude.
Oh, he's going down.
We know.
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Come on, man. Come on. Hey, the dude had oily skin.
1,000 bottles of 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
What?
I had to hit it 3 times, man. What are you doing with all that baby oil, dog?
Exactly. No, but I've been seeing more on that than I have on the strike.
Yeah, well, why do you think that is? Why? This is my conspiracy. They don't want you to know about that.
Why are they going on strike? Pay?
Yeah, it's the pay.
Is it pay or
no? It's conditions. So from what I've read is they're going on strike because of 2 reasons. One, because their contract is up and they're negotiating for higher prices because of inflation. But also, there's talks of automation coming in. Because, automation is everywhere, dog. I mean, everything's becoming automated.
Right,
Even Walmart distribution center.
Yeah, I heard
they're here in Plainview. Right. The robots are coming in and they're doing the job for the workers, bro. And so they're talking about automation going into all the imports and exports, and cranes being automated on their own. No drivers needed to move them on the ship and cargo bays and stuff.
But they still got to get moved.
Yeah,
they still got to be, truck drivers. I mean, they're not on strike. So
yeah, but you got to think, dog. You don't think they can make an AI that can drive a boat?
Well, you got self-driving cars now, dog.
Let me drive the boat. You know what I'm saying? Let me drive the boat. Nah, but for real, man, like so they're
do
kind of rebelling.
It's gonna get pretty rough here in America, like a recession, depression, or what?
Well, this is what I think, and this is just my opinion. I'm not saying it's factual.
Everything we say here is our own opinion. It's not nothing.
Yeah, I ain't saying nothing that. Excuse me.
That's gonna.
Yeah, nothing that's gonna be like set in stone. I'm just saying what I think.
Right.
I think this is gonna cripple the economy a little bit, dog. Cause you got to think, bro.
But then again, I'm gonna tell you this, nephew. Every 4 years, it's what?
Yeah, election time, baby.
Presidential election, right? So something pops up in October, September, right before November. So is this a gimmick?
I don't think so, man, because this is real American lives.
Well, we know that, man, but I mean,
I get what you're saying, though.
Is Kamala for the strike, against the strike? Oh, I'm sure everybody's against the strike. Everybody's against the strike, I'm sure.
They're not doing nothing about it.
But we got Trump, we got Kamala, and then we got, I think, independent. Who's independent is Robert Kennedy Jr.
Oh, yeah, Robert Kennedy Jr. Yeah, his voice is he's got that injury to his voice or something like that.
I'm not going to go deep into that one. I'm sure they did. But anyways,
he's at the Diddy party. Nah, just play.
No, man, I just don't know. That's going to play a factor.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, bro. I mean, from the stance of like the American citizen, I mean, damn, they're not doing nothing about it. It don't look like. So
are they not, or are they under wraps? You know what I'm saying? Not everything that I see. Well, what was that saying? Never believe nothing you hear, and only half of what you see.
I am, bro. Because there's, I'm telling you, man. You know, we like conspiracy theories.
Of course.
And that's how I feel. I feel like something's going on, bro. Because they're not stepping in. It don't look like.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like you said, the election's coming up.
Right.
We're gonna see who handles this.
And
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like you said, I ain't gonna be biased on the podcast about who.
Right.
You know. But I will say is, shoot, you see Trump been meeting with the presidents already, like he already the president. With Zelensky or whatever. Yeah, he already meeting with him.
He's already in deep with him. I mean, he's been president before,
he getting it.
I mean, I'm not biased either, dog, but
you know what I mean? We don't like to talk politics too much, but I mean, hey, there's
I just hope the right candidate, the right president becomes president or whatever.
I just know that
if Kamala says she's going to do this and doesn't, of course, every president says they got promises that they don't keep.
Yeah.
But you got. I truly think my man Trump will do some of the things he says.
Uncle Trump, big Unk. Nah,
I think he's want my hair reddish like his. I don't know. For Halloween, dog. Come on, not and I might even come with the Trump mask next week.
Hey, you hear me? No, man. I mean, shoot, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see how it pans out. I hope everything's cool. I mean, I'll tell you what, bro.
For our economy, I mean.
For the economy. And
us working folks, we still struggle already.
I was just about to say, man, everything's still going up, bro. The price of stuff is expensive right now.
I don't buy groceries on a daily. I mean, we have to buy groceries on a daily and not on the weekly because we can't afford the weekly. It's either gas or food. What we gonna do? You know, so
you know that's what I'm saying.
And if it's that $5 meal deal somewhere, you know.
Yeah, ever since McDonald's came out with that $5 meal, man. If we get sponsored by McDonald's, I'm gonna be the sponsor for the $5 meal deal. Because I be getting that, boy.
I do too.
The best of both worlds.
So you're a McChicken man, I know.
Yeah, I like McChicken.
We found that out last week when you paid $40.
Yeah, man.
When you pay $40 for a McChicken, that's love for you right there,
so
baby.
So mad. I don't even want another McChicken, dog. I'm McDoubles now.
I'm a McDouble too, dog.
But you know, I'm just saying, man. Like those meals help out, but I mean the inflation is bad right now, and then that's why I was reading this thing that said if the port strikes continue long, and you know. The problem is that we're going to see shortages on things that are going to be worse than the pandemic is what they're saying.
Right.
Because at the time of the pandemic, it was just a pandemic.
Right.
Right now, we have inflation. And it's going to be even worse.
But I'm also thinking, well, how many people got busted with the price gouging back in the pandemic? The president, whoever takes over, needs to fucking put a stop to that immediately.
Yeah, hell
gas prices. You know,
going that's ridiculous.
You know, it never hit $5, but it was close.
Hell yeah.
I mean, we used to putting $5.
I almost bought a bike for a second. I told my wife, man, I'm thinking about buying a bike, man. I'm finna ride to work.
I would walk to work, but I'm too old and my knees hurt too much.
Yeah,
so I need my car.
I'm young, but my body ain't young. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I can't
we
walk
established that last week because we before.
Yeah, these knees will lock up on you, boy. I'm gonna be somewhere on the road. And then you know how my job is. They're going to be like, I can call in.
We both work in the warehouse. Yeah. My job's easier than yours, you know.
But you know how they are at the warehouse job. They're going to call you. Hey, you going to be able to make it to work? I could be dying on the side of the road. They're like, hey, well, can you still come in, though?
I'm in the ER right now. My knees broke. Well.
Are your hands broke? We can put you in a chair somewhere.
Put you in a chair, yeah. All you got to do is put labels all day long.
You hear me?
Okay. Yeah, that's how the working folks have to do, man. You know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't affect us too bad. And like I said, I'm not trying to scare nobody. Right. You know, I'm not about fear mongering, but I'm just saying, I talked to a couple people at work. They had no clue about the port strike. They're like,
and that's because people don't pay attention.
Yeah.
But then there's too many distractions, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Social media is a big distraction.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's true.
I'm not against social media.
Nah,
but know your limits. Yeah, you know, I work for a living.
Intake.
So I do watch some at night, but I'm also a newsman. You know, I like to watch the news. I like to investigate things. You know, that's what we do for a living now. Not for a living, but hopefully for a living.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
That's what we do. You know, we take time out of our day to honor our God, pray, and research conspiracy theories, crime junkies.
Yeah, that's all I do, bro.
You know.
I'm still excited.
So you're more of a YouTube man than I am.
Yeah.
Especially the one you showed me today. That was
crazy, right?
Yeah, that was good, man.
Hey, so that's why I'm excited for this, for the upcoming episodes, man, because we're gonna have a podcast, and it might take the whole podcast episode that we're gonna have to tag team the Anunnaki and maybe the Book of Enoch.
I'm afraid of that, man, because
I'm not.
You know what?
Bring the pressure.
I'm seriously considering ordering the book of
the Book of Enoch. Let's order it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
You know,
we'll go to Amazon.
There's so
right
much
now.
in there, right?
I'll order it tonight, dog. We'll have it. I got Prime.
We'll go through the whole book ourselves,
dog. I want to dig into the Book of Enoch.
But no,
man.
I understand that, and we are.
Because that's what we like to do.
Well, the Book of Enoch is pretty scary, so could be a topic during the month of October.
Yeah, and we may, some people might get mad.
Well,
we
don't want to get anybody mad, but at the same time,
I ain't trying to.
But that's what I'm saying. But at the same time, we're not going to hold back because some people don't. If you're not interested in the Book of Enoch that we talk about, and we usually let people know what we're going to talk about beforehand.
Yeah, and it's not like we're going to be like, look, we're going to teach y'all.
Right, no,
we're not discussing it. It's interesting, bro.
Exactly,
it's interesting.
Exactly.
The Dead Sea Scrolls, all the books they found.
I seen some stuff earlier, too, about the Grand Canyon.
Are you talking about the pyramids?
No.
That they found in the Grand Canyon?
No, not the pyramids.
Well,
they were saying about some of the what are they called? The giant trees.
Oh,
they're not giant trees.
You're talking about the mountains. Yeah. You're talking about the mountains.
Right.
Like there's one. Where is it in Wyoming? Is it the Devil's Tower?
Well, that's in the Grand Canyon.
It's in the The Devil's Tower's in.
Well, that's the one I saw. The Devil's Tower. That they keep saying that's a petrified tree, a giant tree. Now they're saying it's not. But that's for another story, man. We've been at it pretty long today.
Yeah, we have, man.
And
we get going on that one. We're gonna be here all night, baby.
And that's what we do. That's why we call late night conversations.
Late night conversations.
We never know when to stop. But at the same time,
we just want, and then we also just want to bring y'all good content that y'all can shoot. I'm excited for some of the stuff that we got planned, bro. Man. Like, I'm
excited for the month of October. With short stories.
Yeah.
It might be a lot of short stories in here and there. Of course, editing. It's gonna be more exciting than just reading.
It's gonna be crazy.
So
once we get it uploaded, everything's gonna be super cool.
But like we said earlier, whatever y'all want to hear, talk about, want us to act out. I will hold on. I don't know about acting out. 7 years ago. No. No, but anything y'all want us to talk about, right? We're willing to do. Email us. Hit us up on Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah. Any of our various platforms.
Any of y'all want to slide into my DM? Go on, girl, go on.
Hey, yeah. I'm married.
He married, I'm not, but go on, girl, slide.
But he ready to electric slide.
Because this weekend I was at a little gathering and, brother, they done told me I had a dad bod.
Oh, you think that's bad?
Man.
Bro, I'm getting my son. Bro, we in the car, right? Hey, for any of y'all younger generation or whatever listening to the podcast, y'all gonna know who this is. I don't know if you're gonna know who this is or not. My son runs into the room. I get out of the shower, right? I'm putting my shorts on, whatever. I ain't got my shirt on yet. And I'm a big dude, you know what I'm saying? I'm a little big. I'm a little big, you know what I'm saying? But my son runs up to me. He's like, Dad, you look like that guy that's like, skibbity bob, 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 bob.
I seen that video, dude. Oh, I don't know his name, but
the big Indian dude that be bouncing his stomach. And he runs up to me and grabs my stomach and starts going like this. I'm like, get off of me, man.
That's insane, dog. I can see him doing stuff like that,
he pissed me off, dog. I almost forgot he was my son.
Sounds coming on.
I almost hit him with one of them, the people's elbow.
Should have hit him with the stomach. No, but thank y'all so much.
Man.
We do. This is what we do. We have fun. And we
hope y'all have fun too, man.
Yeah, we're up late at night. You know, we just enjoy this, man. And
I always enjoy my time with you, Unk, man. It was good, fun episode. We had a good scary story in there. That was good. Yeah. You know, nice little true crime, man. If y'all want to play that back and dissect it, I mean, it's a good story. Right. Do y'all's own.
Yeah, give us some feedback on that story. What y'all's theory is?
Yeah, what do y'all think happened to the kids? Y'all tell us in the comments below. What do y'all think happened to the kids, man? Y'all think the town was in on it? Y'all think there was a kidnapping attempt by the city and a cover up? Shoot, that's what I think.
Trafficking, buying and selling children. I don't know.
That's what I think.
You know, so.
But man, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us, man. I think we're good, man. We could probably end off right here.
All right.
But yeah, man, thank y'all again. Like we said, for watching. We really appreciate it.
Remember, I'm the Unk. That's the nephew. Peace out. We enjoy this.
Yeah, we have fun tonight. So thank y'all for joining the Late Night Family. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.